was doing nothing that any other officer wouldn't have done.
A longtime law enforcement officer battling for his life tonight after he tried to stop an alleged burglary in Puyallup while he was off duty.
Yeah, it's very upsetting.
What we are learning about the Federal Way police officer and the frantic search underway tonight for the suspects.
Glad you're with us. Let's get to that big story. That Puyallup neighborhood reeling tonight after such a violent scene. And knowing the victim is a longtime Federal Way police officer. His name is Donovan Hevner. He is recovering tonight after emergency surgery. KOMO's Kara Kostanich is live in Puyallup tonight with more on that injured officer and the plea from police tonight. Kara?
That's right, Stephen. Michelle, this officer was shot in the abdomen. He was sent to surgery today and is lucky to be alive tonight. Now, after this all unfolded, 2 trucks fled the scene of this business. Right now, I want to take you to an image the police released to us today. They say this is a silver or white Chevy pickup truck with or without a tailgate. And if you've seen it, call police.
This was a very close call. A very close call.
Tonight, Federal Way police officer Donovan Hevner is recovering at a Tacoma hospital. Just after 7 this morning, he was shot while verbally interrupting a commercial burglary while off duty in his hometown of Puyallup.
As one of the vehicles was fleeing the scene, it appears someone in the vehicle fired, striking the officer. The officer went down at that time.
Police say Hevner was on his regular morning run on River Road when he saw 2 men trying to break into Jennings equipment. Investigators say the officer tried to speak to the men, but they got into 2 separate vehicles, opened fire, then fled the area.
It breaks my heart to think that people think they have to hurt somebody to get something that doesn't belong to them.
Betty Zufelt lives just a few blocks away, and police believe the 2 men were stopped on her street corner just before they hit the equipment store.
And all of a sudden I heard this big thump.
Police say it was a big toolbox from the bed of a truck, and tonight they're asking residents all over the area to check their surveillance cameras for the trucks and the 2 men.
It just seems like every day there's something going on again, and I know it's everywhere, but it's really sad.
Puyallup police say this pickup is unique, and they're pleading with the public to keep a watchful eye.
It's just completely unacceptable, and our job is to find justice for the victim.
And investigators tell us that those 2 suspects were dressed in black and speaking Spanish. As for that Federal Way police officer, I'm told that he has been with the agency since 1996 and has served in law enforcement for 27 years. Live in Puyallup tonight, I'm Kara Kostanich, KOMO News.
Our thoughts with him and his family tonight. Kara, thank you. Right now, Seattle police looking for a suspected shooter after this. 2 people were shot in Seattle's Chinatown International District. The shots here were fired just before 5 this evening. Officers right near the intersection of 12th Avenue and Jackson Street blocked off the sidewalk with crime data at one point. When officers arrived, they found 2 men, both shot in the leg. Seattle Fire says they were in stable condition when they were taken to Harborview Medical Center. They are expected to be okay. Police search for the area, but so far, no known motive. Here is a phone number if you can help. Police ask if you have any information at all to call SPD's Violent Crimes Tip Line. That number right there on your screen.
And 12th and Jackson is the exact same spot where a man and woman were shot earlier this month, back on October 16th. We told you about a robbery and a shooting there. A 41-year-old man was shot during a robbery. A 28-year-old woman who just happened to be walking by that area was shot while carrying a child. Officers found the suspects at a gas station in South Seattle. Both were arrested.
This weekend's violence stretching to the South Sound as well. A tragic discovery inside a Thurston County home tonight. A welfare check led to the discovery of a husband and wife found dead in their home. This was in the Maytown community. That's about 15 miles south of Olympia. Thurston County deputies say they found a man and woman's body after a family member couldn't reach them and asked police to check on them. This is a photo of the scene posted by the Sheriff's Department on social media tonight. A sheriff's spokesperson told us the couple's adult son is in custody and there are no outstanding suspects and that the son does not live at that home.
Tonight, we have learned a man suffered critical injuries after getting hit by a suspected drunk driver in Puyallup. Police responded to that scene near South Meridian and South Meeker just after 11 o'clock last night. Officers say a 62-year-old Puyallup woman hit the man near that intersection. She was arrested for suspicion of driving under the influence. First responders took the man to St. Joseph Medical Center tonight. We are waiting to get an update on how he's doing.
A lot of crime tonight, also developing an arrest in Centralia. A man is in Lewis County Jail after a deadly shooting there. Just after 8 this morning, police responded to calls of an unconscious person near the 800 block of South Gold Street. There, they found a man's body with multiple gunshot wounds. Right now, it's unclear what led up to the shooting, but 28-year-old Christopher Gadre was arrested on suspicion of first-degree murder. The name of the victim not yet being released.
Tonight, Fife police are trying to figure out who was responsible for an explosive device that forced the evacuations of several businesses. This here is a picture from the scene on 54th Avenue East and 20th Street East. The bomb squad, as you can see there, was called in. They disabled that suspicious device, which they determined was explosive. Nearby roads were closed for a few hours. They are now back open tonight, and that evacuation order has since been lifted.
Looking live at the King County Election Service Center in Renton. It's quite quiet right now, but in just 2 days, this county facility will be busy. Ballots will be sorted and verified here. We are tracking several races this election day, including the Seattle mayor's race. Today, candidates Bruce Harrell and Lorena Gonzalez held campaign events in South Seattle in a final weekend push to meet voters.
Again, we have a clear choice in this race. I'm the candidate who's going to fight for working families and people. I'm going to build affordable housing. I'm going to tackle homelessness on day one.
Let's redefine the city. This city is super. This is a great city. And let's not act like we're anything other. So we're going to change the narrative, talking about solving the homelessness issue, effective public safety. Let's get energized together.
Remember, ballots must be turned in at a valid drop box by 8 p.m. Tuesday night or postmarked by Election Day if you're mailing it. Stay with KOMO News for the latest results to the mayor's race and other key races from all around the area, including 2 Seattle citywide council seats up for grabs in the race for Seattle City Attorney, 2 mayoral races in Tacoma and Everett. Join us for team live coverage on Tuesday.
Also happening on Tuesday, a group of CDC vaccine advisors will meet to talk about Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine for younger children. That vaccine would be for kids between the ages of 5 and 11, but the dose is only about 1/3 of the dose given to those 12 years of age and older. But a Kaiser Family Foundation poll shows only 27% of parents plan to get their kid vaccinated right away. 33% want to wait and see.
Meanwhile, Moderna says the FDA needs more time to review its COVID-19 vaccine for children. The vaccine maker says the FDA wants to review the risk of heart inflammation in its vaccine in children aged 12 to 17. Moderna predicts the review might delay emergency use authorization. Its vaccine for this age group until January. It also said the review would delay its application for its vaccine in younger children. The FDA is concerned about the risk of a rare type of heart inflammation called myocarditis that is linked to both Pfizer and Moderna's vaccines.
In Illinois tonight, police are looking for 2 gunmen that they say shot more than a dozen people at a Halloween party. 2 of those victims died. This happened early this morning at a house party just southwest of Chicago. Police say about 200 people were there when shots were fired in the backyard. They say one shooter opened fire from an elevated porch above that crowd.
A gunshot goes off, and you could just tell everybody kind of froze. And like a couple seconds later, maybe like 10, 15 seconds later, more shots went out, and then that's when everybody started running.
Police say a second shooter was wearing a ski mask. So far, no arrests have been made there.
New tonight, charges expected to come down tomorrow after an arrest in a deadly mass shooting at a Halloween party in eastern Texas. The shooting happened in Texarkana. That's just out near the border of Arkansas, in a venue where hundreds gathered for a Halloween party. 1 person was killed, 8 others were hurt. Tonight, the gunman, identified as 21-year-old Keontae McElroy, turned himself in after investigators got a search warrant.
My flight was 12 hours ago. I haven't been able to get a hold of anybody.
Incredibly frustrated. Americans awful. Like, never flying them again.
Frustration continues tonight for stranded American Airlines passenger. The airline canceled 600 more flights today. That brought the total to more than 1,500 since Friday. The company says the cancellations are due to weather issues at its hub in Dallas and staffing shortages. American Airlines says it expects things to get better tomorrow, but there will be likely residual issues from this weekend. Still ahead tonight, the president's press secretary in quarantine tonight after being diagnosed with COVID-19.
Her last interaction with the president and where she believes she caught the virus. Plus,
will 911 calls go unanswered? Will more flights be canceled? I'm Christine Frizzell with a look at some urgent new warnings regarding those vaccine mandates and how it might impact you in the weeks ahead.
Hi, everybody. We're on the lookout for gusty conditions over the Cascade Gaps and foothills. Wind advisory through 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Secure that Halloween decor and be prepared for isolated power outages. I'll be breaking down when rain returns to our forecast up next.
Yeah, that sunshine was nice this weekend, but changes are coming. Abby's forecast and much more after this. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says she has tested positive for COVID-19. She says she did not travel with the president overseas this week after a family member tested positive for the virus. She's been in quarantine since Wednesday and has tested negative each day until today. Psaki says she last saw the president last Tuesday. She sat 6 feet apart from him, wore masks. She has mild symptoms tonight and is fully vaccinated, plans to return to work after her 10-day quarantine.
Right now, world leaders are gathering in Glasgow for a big climate conference. For the next 2 weeks, more than 20,000 diplomats, heads of state and activists will all meet for what's being called the most important climate change summit in years. Tomorrow, negotiations start on how to cut greenhouse gas emissions, phase out coal, and get the funding to do that. The meeting comes as the World Meteorological Organization releases a new report. It shows the last 7 years are on track to be the warmest on record.
And Governor Jay Inslee is part of a group of Democratic governors who plan to attend parts of that climate conference. Today, he spoke about the power that individual governors can have in fighting climate change.
I'm leading a group of U.S. governors and governors around the world to show what states can do. Look, you know, the UN calls us subnationals. We think of ourselves as supranational.
There could be more fallout in the week ahead over the federal vaccine mandate.
Yeah, December 8th is the deadline for federal contractors to be vaccinated. And as national correspondent Christine Frizzell explains tonight, some want that deadline extended into next year.
For many passengers, it's here we go again. This time, American Airlines canceling more than 1,500 flights since Friday, blaming weather and staffing.
There are issues with the mandate and with people's health and mental well-being and their readiness to work, which before you fly anywhere, you have to sign a consent that you're fit for duty.
Chris DeLong is with U.S. Freedom Flyers, a group of transportation employees who oppose the vaccine mandate. He warns air travel may not only become more stressful, it could also become unsafe.
Anxiety is high. There's a lot of sleepless nights. There's a lot of angst at work. There's a lot of fatigue. The email that I personally received said regarding the vaccination mandate, to be clear, if you fail to comply with the requirement, the result will be termination from the company.
Let us do our job. Big problems predicted in the Big Apple as well, with just 1 week before the New York City Marathon and following large protests by firefighters and other city workers warning of a crisis Monday morning, with 26 firehouses expected to be unstaffed.
When you close firehouses, you affect response times and you affect the time it takes to get people what they need, and that is us to help save their lives.
But New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio also suggested the mandate is working, tweeting Saturday 91% of city workers are now vaccinated. Nationwide, COVID-19 cases are down 60%, with hospitalizations down 50% from the recent peak in September.
And with those numbers moving in the right direction, some business leaders are now asking the Biden administration for a little more time. Instead of that December 8th deadline for workers to be vaccinated, they're asking to push it back at least until sometime early next year.
How soon do you need to push this off until after Christmas?
No, I think that would be a big mistake. People want to work in a workplace where they feel safe.
Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo pointing to United Airlines, where the vaccine mandate deadline already passed, and which she says is seeing a massive surge in people applying to work there. Elevated concerns as the busy season draws closer, and new warnings for the safety of Americans are already here. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
Christine, thank you. Right now, Southwest Airlines launching an investigation after reports of a pilot's alleged use of an anti-Biden slang over the intercom. An AP reporter on a flight from Houston to Albuquerque Friday heard the pilot make the announcement. The pilot reportedly ended his usual pre-flight address with the phrase, "Let's go, Brandon." The phrase has become code for an obscene phrase against President Biden. Southwest has issued a statement that it does not condone its employees sharing their political opinions while on the job. Well, aren't you excited for Halloween? Some of the Seattle sports teams got into the Halloween spirit. On the right, the Kraken shared a photo of a pumpkin with the Kraken logo painted on it on center ice. I like it.
I do too. And on the left there, the Seattle Storm, four-time WNBA champs. They shared a time-lapse video of their logo being carved into a pumpkin. Don't you wish you could carve a pumpkin at that speed?
I think it's the basketball.
Yeah.
I think they're so used to doing it with the basketball.
Just
like the
super
pumpkin,
quick.
they got the advantage.
And eventually in that
That's
video,
all
there'll be some
handling.
bobbleheads that pop up too. Kind of cool.
Yeah, really fun.
Amazing.
And what great weather today. I know it's a little bit chilly, but no rain.
I know, it really does not get much better than this when we're talking about a Halloween forecast here in Western Washington specifically. Hope you love the sunshine, my friends, because we are gearing up for cloudy skies almost constantly all week. So we'll talk more about that in a moment. But first, we're clear, chilly, locally windy overnight. So the Cascade foothills, Monroe, Buckley, Enumclaw, Eatonville, Woodinville, you're involved in that wind advisory overnight. And that wind advisory continues until tomorrow afternoon. Early tomorrow, isolated pockets of fog, not widespread, even freezing fog a possibility for the typical suspects, aka the South Sound. And then starting tomorrow, late morning, a soggy and breezy pattern gets going again tomorrow and on and off in nature all the way through next weekend. Overnight clear skies are all due to high pressure. We also have that easterly flow, some of those winds gushing through the Cascade Gaps. We will have clear skies overnight, which means it's going to be really chilly early tomorrow morning. Our next weather maker is this area of low pressure off of the Pacific. This is going to swing a weak front through our backyard tomorrow, so light rain on tap for tomorrow. It's not going to be all that heavy or long lasting. The rain comes through late morning in Puget Sound. That means it's dry for kids at the bus stop. Almost cruel, this tough turnaround for them trick-or-treating tonight. Warm coat, gloves will really come in handy, and ideally a coat that's waterproof, as they will be dodging some showers rather by the time they're out of school, going into about 2, 3 o'clock. Right now, temps are all over the place. Isn't this remarkable? We're near freezing for Shelton, 37 Olympia, Centralia. We're talking about the low 50s right now for Seattle. Altogether, we're down to the low 30s to the low 40s. So keep that jacket in mind with your outfit as you're planning that for tomorrow morning. Already, we're seeing some fog problems for Centralia, maybe a few spots of freezing fog. We really have to be on the lookout for slick spots on bridges and overpasses when that happens. We're dry right now on radar. We're mostly clear on satellite, except for that fog issue that I mentioned. We aren't talking about that rain marching into the south coastline through tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. By noon, the rain is arriving in the South Sound, pushing up through the I-5 corridor through 3. By about 6:30, heaviest bands clearing northeast of our area back up into Canada. And behind it through about 6:30, we'll just be dealing with some very isolated light showers. Temps tomorrow really going to be interesting. Keep in mind highs. The forecast very fluid. It all depends on the timing of the front. Swings through earlier, we'll end up cooler. If it stalls out and slows to our south, we could end up closer to 60 degrees in Seattle. But right now, most likely for the 40s, Tacoma, Gig Harbor, mid to upper 50s across King County up into Everett and Edmonds. We're talking about the mid to upper 50s for Bellingham out through Mount Vernon. For the coastal beaches, it will be breezy tomorrow. We're going to be dealing with those temps in the low 50s for Centralia and Castle Rock, with those temps in the mid 50s out into eastern Washington. If you have to do yard work like me, drier early and late. Again, rain for the most part, 11 a.m. to 5, and we're going to be dealing with gusts for the foothills as well as out along the coast. Say goodbye to the sunshine, because we're going to be dealing with consistent gray skies Tuesday through next Sunday, and a few opportunities for wind as well. Kristen is tracking it tomorrow at 4:30.
All right, here we go again with the wind. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
The Kraken with one of the most exciting goals we've seen all season.
Yeah, but wasn't enough to beat the New York Yankees. Nico takes us to center ice at Climate Pledge Arena when we come right back. Stay with us.
Well, that's more like it. The Seahawks with 3 straight losses, of course, falling in 5 of their last 6 games. We get it. That stretch wasn't very fun, was it? But I also get it. They were playing a Jacksonville team today with just 1 win. But you really can't look at that. You have to look at how the Seahawks played, how they won. That's what you take away from this game. Let's show you some of the best plays. Geno Smith making his 3rd start. No trick, all treat in this one. How about it? Geno looks good. Airs it out for Tyler Lockett down to the 1-yard line. What a play. Geno absolutely loves it. Hawks held the 4th and goal, but who else? Geno flies over the plane for the touchdown and a 7-0 Seattle lead. So that's great. This, though, is what should get you excited for the second half of the season. The Seahawks defense stopping Jacksonville at every turn. Quandre Diggs with the interception. Remember how bad that defense was earlier? They looked good again in this one. Defense leads to offense. Geno completes, by the way, his first 14 passes. None better than that. DK Metcalf, perfect pass, perfect catch, leaping over former Seahawks Shaq Griffin. That was an amazing catch, and it only gets better later. Geno to DK right here. Ball game over in the third quarter. That kind of game, everything working for Seattle. It is a 31-7 win for the Hawks.
This was a really good game for us, one we needed badly just to get it home and have fun with the fans and all of that. But it was a really well-played game for us. Defense did a fantastic job all day long, really across the board, and just did what we'd hoped they would do. We continue to get better. We can see it. We're proving it, and we need to keep counting on it as we head into the second half here.
No game next week. Back to work at Green Bay, November 14th. Maybe we see Russell Wilson in that one. So my takeaways from this one, it's simple. 18 of the Seahawks' 20 pass completions went to DK or Tyler. That's a good thing. They're some of your best players, right? The defense finally back in control. 3 straight games where they look pretty good. 3-5 now the record on the season. Let's see if they can make a move here. Get Russell Wilson back after the bye and maybe flirt with the playoffs. We'll see about that. Special ceremony at halftime today. Former head coach Mike Holmgren officially inducted to the Seahawks Ring of Honor. A man Pete Carroll said is responsible for getting things rolling here in town, at least in recent years. The Hawks make Holmgren their 14th inductee and second in a week after Matt Hasselbeck was honored on Monday. Double trouble in Seattle today. We're hoping, of course, for some Halloween magic. 2 games, 2 wins. Wouldn't that be nice? The Hawks had their victory down the Seattle Kraken. We're hoping they could keep it rolling with their 3rd straight win. That would have been the most in franchise history. Heck of a game with the Rangers. New York has a 1-0 lead in the second. Jordan Eberle has entered the chat. Backhands it right past the goalie. Take another look at this. I mean, you just don't see this often. The backhand airborne, my goodness. Eberle ties the game up heading into the 3rd and final period, but that's where the Rangers get rolling. Adam Fox takes advantage of the opening right there in front of Philip Grubauer. Not much Drew can do about that one. Seattle pulling out all the stops, including the empty net. Mark Giordano fires Yanni Gourde, misses the goal right there by inches. I mean, that was just a couple inches. And look at this. The Rangers break away the other end. And yeah, as I mentioned, the net is empty, so there it is. Kraken falls 3-1 on the road at Edmonton tomorrow. Finally, checking on the World Series now. Atlanta looking to win it all on their home field. And for a while, it felt like they might. First inning, Adam Duvall drills it. Grand slam, 4-0 lead. How about that, right? But hold on a minute, because Houston has something to say about that. Marwin Gonzalez pinch hitting. Great call by Dusty Baker there. 2-run single sends Houston to victory. Game 6. Set up for Tuesday night in Houston. That's the point. Doesn't matter what team you root for. I mean, it's exciting. It's Game 6, maybe Game 7. You just got to love the excitement of it.
My husband is a huge Atlanta Braves fan. He sent me a text tonight, a crying emoji as he was watching the game tonight. He's like, man.
It's been 26 years for him. It'd be great to see him get back.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Thanks, Nico.
We'll be right back. Finally tonight, a trick and a treat for some Uber riders. Some cities are picking up their fares and some pretty stylish rides this Halloween weekend. Check it out. Customers who request an Uber X in Atlanta could find themselves being picked up in Scooby-Doo's Mystery Machine. And in LA, it's this SpongeBob SquarePants Patrol Unit.
Riders in Miami could find themselves in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles party wagon. I love that show as a kid. It's just so much fun. Vehicles function as normal Uber rides, taking customers where they need to go. But there's no way to request one of these. Getting one is simply luck of the draw.
All right, luck of the draw. Speaking of that, we really lucked out. We were talking about the holidays this year, and it just seems like they all sort of work out. So, Halloween?
Isn't that so nice? Because we're famous for horrible weather on important outdoor holidays. So you know what? It's nice to win one. It was great this weekend. We are, though, saying goodbye to the sunshine. Take a look at those cloudy sky icons. Tomorrow all the way through Sunday. Sure, maybe an isolated sun break from time to time, but we're in for really #SoNorthwest week. Really cozy, really cloudy, and occasional rounds of wind as well.
Typical fall. Here we go.
It's just October. You getting used to it?
I love it. Are you kidding me?
Awesome.
Yeah.
We'll keep you around.
I'll stay around.
And he doesn't have an umbrella, do you? You're one of us.
Not breaking out an umbrella.
Good man. Good man. Keep it that way.
Good night, everybody. We appreciate you watching.
We'll see you back here tomorrow morning for a couple more news at 4:30, and then the rest of us will see you back here next weekend. Bye-bye.
We will.